Hey everybody, what's going on? Hope you guys are doing good. I am doing just great. So I have one hell of a busy weekend. So I got 2 guitars that I sold that I have to get shipped out. I have about 3 guitars that I'm working on pretty much all at one time. 2 guitars that I have to get checkered, and 1 guitar that I'm kind of not really starting from scratch, but I didn't like how it came out. So we were looking at the Greene Terror's Tribute Guitar. I fixed the logo that was at the top of the headstock, and I'm going to reprint that and put that back on here. So now it doesn't look like, because the T and the H on each side of the lettering, you know, the T was a little bit shorter than the H was, and it kind of threw it off to make it look like it was kind of lopsided a little bit. So I fixed that, and I have the files for the ghosts and everything else, so I'm not worried about that. But one of the things that we were discussing too with the tremolo system that he's got on this guitar, or wants to put on this guitar, well, actually it's not going to be on the guitar, he wants a locking nut. So I've got a bunch of these locking nuts that are adjustable. There's nothing really wrong with them at all. They actually work pretty damn good. I've got them on a couple of guitars, and replaced, you know, the nut that, you know, was on there. So I was going to use this nut here, locking nut, but the color isn't the same, and it's really, really tall, and I really don't want to gouge out too much of this neck and make it weak or anything. This is kind of an old guitar neck. It's not you know, recent or anything. It's pretty old, and it's not like super thick. So instead of like using that, I was going to use this, and you can see that even with the plate on the bottom of it, there is a big difference in the thickness of these two. So I figured I'm going to use this. It works. There's no problems with it. They're not expensive as like a Floyd Rose locking nut or anything else, but they work with no problems. So you got 2 mounting screws that go inside here that mount it to the neck, and then you have adjustments here, and they adjust on this plate instead of digging into the wood. So if you want to raise up your action height to 1st fret or lower it, you just adjust these 2 screws, and it'll either bring it up or bring it down. So I've got it set up right now to where this is perfect where it's going to be, and it's nice and square, and it butts up against the fretboard with no problem. So that's why you see this here, because I'm using this to kind of get my platform that I built up over here, and make sure it's nice and square as far as flat and then up against the fretboard itself. So what I have here is a couple pieces of maple that's inside of here, so it's hard, and I've got one is the major platform, and then I have a couple pieces that are on the side over here that are rounded off. So I've got some filler over here that I'm going to sand down really nice and smooth to kind of give it a nice transition from one surface to the other surface, and it's going to get painted. You shouldn't even know it was even there. Kind of like what I did with the Detroit Records Eddie Van Halen tribute guitar that he wanted made. That guitar didn't have a locking nut on it either, so I had to build up a platform and everything else to get it to where it would work out right. So that's what I'm doing with this guitar here. I'm not worried about anything over here, because this is all going to get refinished because I did this. The body itself, I didn't like the way the glow comes out. So Custom Cans recommends that you use their clear coat for, you know, their paints. It's like, okay, fine, not a big deal. So instead of using the Spray Max Clear, the 2K, I've got 2 cans of the Custom Cans 2K clear coat, which is recommended for their glow-in-the-dark paint. So I don't know how much of a difference there's going to be as far as the chemical that is made in the Custom Cans compared to Spray Max, but you know, somehow, some way they recommend it. So apparently the UV portion of it is not going to be too much of a resistance to where the glow kind of pops out at you. And that's kind of what I didn't like, and why I'm doing it over again. It's because that glow didn't pop out the way I wanted it to glow. So I'm going to redo that again. Plus I have I ordered a couple cans of that, and I want to do something else on another guitar where it's going to have a design that's going to glow over the top of whatever else's design is on there, so it'll be invisible, so to say. So right now I am going to work on this a little bit. Once this dries, bring the body for this guitar upstairs and give it a couple light dustings of white and just to cover up all the glow stuff, because it's basically sanded down to where it's doesn't have much of a clear coat on it right now, and everything's nice and smooth. There's no filling that has to be, I mean, it's all kind of really nice and even and smooth. So right now I just have to like hit it a couple more times with some of the bone white, and then hit this with the bone white after I shape everything and get everything sanded to where I want it, and then go ahead and start doing the glow in the dark. And in between I'll be working on other guitars as well. So this mess here that's on top of here has to be cleaned up. You know, I got my clamps to clamp down because I had to glue wood together. I was using some pencil erasers as cushions, and that kind of helps out with like the back, so you don't have like this part over here or this part over here digging into the surface of whatever project that you're working on. And just all in all, get rid of everything that is over here so I can work on other projects and not contaminate what I'm working on with all this dust and crap that is all over this towel. So I'll be back and kind of like going in and out of different projects as I'm working on them. Alright, so I got my black light going. This is pretty bright. Now I'm going to go into the bouncy house now and kind of check out the progress of Greene Terror's guitar. So this is the back. See, there's really nothing that's glowing. The sides. And nothing that's glowing on the sides. And the front. So the front is glowing, so if I get rid of this, it turns white, bring it back, I'm happy with that. You know how I am. If I don't like something, I am going to fix it. And I didn't like the way this came out the first time, so it's being fixed. So I'm using the 2K by Custom Cans. This is the clear. You gotta pull the pin, turn it, and shake it up really good. So I guess this is what's recommended with the Alien Glow Blue and the Alien Glow Green. So this has already been shaken up really good. I'm gonna go start clear coating. Alright, so the first coats of clear have been put on there, and it seems to be holding up really nice. Kind of like it. This 2K by Custom Cans might be my new clear coat that I'll be using from now on. Not sure yet, but let this dry up, give it a second coat, and build it up. It's looking good. Alright, so I'm here with the Epiphone Muse, and to be honest with you, I really don't like how this came out. I liked the way that this area over here came out as far as the squares go, but as far as like this area here and this area over here, I didn't really care for how that turned out. So you know how I am. If I don't like something, I'm going to redo it. So everything feels pretty good. It looks nice as far, well, it doesn't look very, very nice, but for what I need it to be as far as a primer coat, and I want it to be nice and flat, get rid of all these sharp lines over here so it doesn't show through when I put the silver back on here. And then when I start doing other painting, it's not going to show me anything that's kind of be up higher or lower. It's going to be all even with each other, so nothing feels like it is lumpy, bumpy, wavy, or sharp edged. And that's what I need to basically start putting the silver on. So I'm going to take this in the garage and check the progress on one guitar and spray the silver on. Alright, so this thing came out really nice. No lumps, no bumps, and most importantly, no lines from the old squares that were on here. Let this dry, and I can start masking and starting over again. Alright, so it's Saturday night. It's about maybe 11 o'clock. I'm done for today. Been spraying all day, working on guitars. And this is how Greene Terror's Tribute Guitar came out. It's cleared. Came out really nice. I got to do a wet sanding on it just to kind of level things out a little bit, because if there's paint on top of paint, and it kind of made a little bit of a texture look to the top. Not much, but just a little bit. So if I turn this into light a little bit, you'll be able to see some of that texture in the glare. See it at the top over there where the hook is? That's the texture. So what's underneath the clear is the glow paint, and that's kind of what it did when I put the clear on top of it. Not a big deal. That'll sand out nice and flat and smooth. So the headstock still needs to be cleared, but headstock, I could put the decal on there, clear it, and you know, that'll be for that. I can start assembly on everything once everything has been buffed out. So how does it look when the lights are turned off? All right, so I got the Epiphone Muse drying in the other room. It's got the bright silver metallic on it. And this is the Warmoth body. And you can see it's nice and white. Yeah, very white, very white. So what's going to happen with this is the same thing as the Muse. It's going to get a checkerboard on there. And this is what I'll be working on tomorrow. Tomorrow being Sunday. And yeah, so like I said, I've got everything planned out as far as how I'm doing everything, so everything should fall into place as far as how I'm working on things and getting things done. So I will be putting up another video probably either tomorrow night, which will be Sunday, or Monday morning, depending on how much I get done and you know what's going to be happening next as far as paint drying. So you guys take it easy, have a good one, and I will catch you all later.